Balak was a Moabite king who tried to harm the people of Israel. He became known in biblical history for hiring Balaam to curse the Israelites. Balak lived at the time when Israel has been on the Sinai Peninsula after leaving Egypt toward the Promised Land. And in this video you will know Balak's true story in the Bible. The Bible says that in the face of Israel's achievements throughout its path, Balak was scared. The Hebrew people had just conquered the kingdoms of Sihon and Og of the Amorites. And these victories, in fact, were very significant in that historical context, and remained in the memory of the people following history. Even Psalm 135, verse 11, talks exactly about it. Then, fearing the Israelite advance, Balak, son of Zippor, turned to a Pector prophet in the Euphrates called Balaam. At that moment, the Israelites were posted north of Moab and had a large army. According to biblical information, Balaam sported a certain deviant reputation, and his words were considered very valuable. In this sense, in Numbers chapter 22, verse 6, and here it is important to note that this was the perception of a pagan king, Balak, about a somewhat obscure prophet, Balaam. This means that this vision of Balak may not necessarily correct, because the rest of the biblical history shows in a very clear way the kind of prophet that Balaam really was. In any case, Balak signed an alliance with the Midianites to resist the Israelites and sent messengers to recruit Balaam. And because of Balaam's proposal, Balaam went to consult the Lord and heard from him that he should not curse the people of Israel. Then the prophet declined the invitation, but Balaam insisted and improved his proposal. And you even authorized that Balaam accompany Balaam's message, that he spoke only what he commanded him. But even in the face of the Lord's orders, Balaam proved to be a corrupt prophet and set out to meet Balak with wicked motivations. And it was on this occasion that God allowed his donkey to speak. Then, when the prophet arrived to him, Balak took him to curse his Israel. And they made 3 attempts, and in all of them, King Balak was forced to hear the Lord's blessing upon his people. And this episode, of course, has left Balak extremely annoyed, as we read between chapters 23 and 24. A very clear cut of this irritation of King Balak can be seen in verses 10 and 11 of chapter 24, where the biblical text then says, "The wrath of Balak lit against Balaam and beat his palms. And Balak said to Balaam, 'To curse my enemies I have called you, but now 3 times have blessed them entirely. Now therefore, it runs away to your place. He said he would honor you greatly. But behold, the Lord deprived you of this honor.' And then, when he saw that he could not reach his goals with Balak returned his way to Moab. But although he was not successful in his plan to bring a curse over Israel with Balaam, indirectly King Balak managed to harm the people of Israel. This is because, after the episode involving the corrupt prophet, the Bible says that the Israelites began to prostitute themselves with the Moabite women. The Moabites and the Midianites, instigated by Balaam, sought to corrupt the people of Israel through idolatry and immorality. And since they failed to prevail against the Israelites through direct confrontation, they tried to neutralize them through a mixture that moved them from the covenant with God. And the New Testament makes it clear that Balak was also involved in this corruption of Israel. After all, he was the Moabite king at that time. And that's why Balak is remembered in the book of the Apocalypse as someone who followed Balaam's teaching, and through stumbling before the children of Israel, so that they could get involved with idolatry and prostitution. Therefore, King Balak serves as a figure of everyone who tries to rise against God's people, using false teachings in order to lead him to sin. So, in this sense, unfortunately, these days, there are many people like Balak scattered around. And if you'd like to know who King Balak was according to the Bible, share this video with others. Also leave your comment. Tell us if unfortunately you have already met someone who had the same kind of Balak's intention. That is, someone motivated to curse and harm God's people.